Morning. Right. So, fished, been struggling on fruit really this season. I've had a couple of decent fish, but it's been a bit of a struggle. So what I've done this week is changed tactics and changed stretch as well. Moved further up the Stour. I'm just having a little wander at the moment. And I've been fishing sort of a fruit maggot feeder, bread feeder. It's fairly static really, you know, staying in one place. I mean, but today I've travelled quite light. I've got one pike rod and one chub rod. Chub rod I've got cheese paste with a load of mashed breads put in the feeder as well. And it's looking good here actually. Because the fruit's so busy as well, you can't really move around too much because all the best swims are really sort of taken, and once you get in one you want to sort of stay in it because you'll lose it as soon as you move out. So I'm hoping this stretch is going to be a little bit less crowded, which, well, it's the car park there and that's the only car in it, which is mine, so looks like that's paid off anyway. Yeah, just going for a little wander and yeah, liking what I see so far. Seen any I'll try and find a few slacks to fish for the pike, but looks good for chub, to be honest. River's quite low, hasn't been any rain for a while. Temperature's a bit cold, but actually it's warmed up a little bit today from yesterday. Right, I think I'm gonna go and get me gear and crack on, to be honest. Just thought I'd have a little wander down and have a look at the river, but yeah, I'm thinking today as well with the cheese paste to mould it around a little cork off the back of the hook, just to leave the hook point clear, and also sort of pop it up in the current a little bit. It's just something a little bit different. But I found the chub at Threep really finicky, really tough this season, and I don't know, it might be because they're being fished for a lot really, so I wanted to try something a bit different up here, plus fish are stretched a bit less pressured. So yeah, we'll give it a go anyway. And I've got a load of herring to fish the pike rod. There's a bit of a slack there actually. But yeah, it's quite a fun way of fishing as well, because you kind of move around and you're fishing for a couple of different species, and yeah, it's a bit more interesting than sitting in one swim feeding maggots and hoping that the chub turn up, and they haven't really been this season, so yeah, let's give it a crack. Alright, so first cast of the day, just under that tree, bit of cheese paste on a lead. So here's my pike rig, got this size 4 trebles. I use a big bait herring, really much like catching jack pikes, so I usually try and use bigger baits to try and get the bigger fish. Little tiny bung, I use as small as I can get away with really, so the pike gets resistance. A couple of little drilled bullets on there, just so that the bait hits the bottom and stays there and cocks the float. Yeah, little float stop there. Pretty simple really. And then I'm going to use a whole herring, decent size. Not massive herring actually, I usually use bigger, but that's all the fishmonger had, so we'll give them a go. Right, just walked right up to the top of the stretch. Found quite an interesting bit here. The bit in the middle's way downstream is way too shallow and fast, and then it really deepens out here. It looks cracking for roach, if I'm honest, this swim. It's like a steady current, just a nice glide down the middle there. Yeah, before it sort of shallows up and gets faster down there. There's a sort of island in the middle of the river. It looks good for pike. There's a near sort of slack on the near side here where I've put chucked a herring. Let's see what happens. Just going to change this rod, chub rod, onto a feeder, bread feeder, mashed bread, and actually no, I'm just going to chuck out a bit of cheese paste on a lead for now. And then rig up with that cork rig I was talking about, so cork off the back of the hook and cheese paste rolled it around that, and I'll fish that with a cage feeder with mashed up bread. God, that cheese paste really stinks. Actually, I didn't think it smelled too much when I made it in the kitchen last night. A bit worried it wasn't smelly enough. I've got blue cheese, garlic, a bit of cheddar, short crust pastry in it, another sort of blue cheese, can't remember what it's called. But yeah, pleased with it today. It's quite a nice consistency as well, probably a bit harder than most people use. Just I like it to be able to stay on the hook to be sure that the bait's still on there. So yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so here's me cork rig that I keep going on about. Put it down here a minute. So basically what I'll do is I've got a little knotless knot there. I've left a bit of space off the shank to let it move around so I can mould the cheese paste around the cork, have the hook point shown. It just pops it up off the bottom a little bit. Just starting off with a really longer than I wanted to, 12-inch hook length. I might shorten that down. And yeah, we'll have a crack at that, and I'll fish that just below a bread feeder with all that mashed bread in. That's the tactics. There we go. That's how it looks fished with the cheese paste on it. Don't mess around, big bit of cheese paste. That's all based around that cork at the back with the hook point just showing there. Okay, so first cast, just put the with the cork rig just under that weed rag there, and rod pulled right the way around, and got quite a nice chub in the net. Nothing humongous, I don't think, but here we go. It's a good fish. Really, really plump actually. It'll go 5. Yeah. Nice, at least. Lovely. Just right under mid rod tip almost. Just under there, it got stuck in all this near bank stuff. That's the first fish of the day. I was just estimating it before I weighed it up. Put it about 5.5 and it was 5.9. So yeah. Lovely fish, actually really good condition. Pretty much scale perfect. It's real good, really fat as well. A little bit empty belly. Go a little. Well, that's fantastic. 5.9 chub in the first sort of hour, maybe hour and a half. But yeah, I literally set that rig up like I showed you, and I was just packing everything away, and I thought I'd drop it down in the margins under that weed raft, and just had everything on my lap, all the tackle. I was just trying to get everything sorted out, and then suddenly I had a little pull round, slow pull round. I thought it might be something coming down the current, but it's quite slack down there, so it seemed like a bit too much of a pull to be something in the weed on the current. Anyway, that about 30 seconds later, the tip just wrapped right around, hooked itself, and yeah, had to grab the rod before it got pulled in. Great fight, real close in stuff coming in under the near bank, and trying to get under that tree just down there where I hooked it. And then I thought it got stuck right in the bank down there, but eventually it came loose. They're good at that job. But yeah, good start. It's that little cork rig worked again. Started using it for the first time in on the Bristol Avon, actually, in lockdown, which is my local river, and did alright on it actually. I don't know what it is. I think it just sort of pops it up off the bottom a little bit, or I don't know. Just seemed to get a better ratio of bites to hooking up, especially on the stout. The chub are really, really difficult. But yeah, or maybe it's just because it's less pressured water, maybe a bit of both. But yeah, that's a good start. I think I'm probably going to move on. I think I've got the chub resting in the net again, just while I've cast out, and see if I can get another one from the same spot. I'll give it 5 minutes or so, I'll carry on packing up my gear, and I'll release the chub and move on. Just holding it in the net just to let it recover, and also to stop it scaring the rest of the shoal if they're down there. But yeah, like I said, give it 5 or 10 minutes, then I'll start moving down, try a few different swims, but this could be one to head back to later, I think. I'm pretty sure I've disturbed it by landing that fish, which went everywhere. So anyway, good start. Happy days. Right, third swim, just giving it a go in this fast run on the near side, underneath these reeds, just down, see I'm pointing just down there, Right, now I'm fishing it in the obvious spot, which is just off that branch, or just under that branch really. Right, I'm in another very up close and personal swim. Right under that tree. Narrow run between the reeds and the tree down there. Looks pretty chubby. Right, 6th swim in a couple of hours really. Just fishing it up by the trees on the far bank over there. Still getting bites in this swim. I've missed about 3 bites now. Just out under those trees on the far bank. Just keep whacking at it really. Well, just lost a fish. Still in the same swim. Eventually hit one of those bites. It felt quite a small fish actually. But yeah, it's just getting to grips with it. Got it on the surface and it was off. Alright, swim number 7 or 8. Just put it out by sort of right in that gap between the trees. Pretty risky cast actually. It was about a foot away from the tree, I guess. Good cast for once. Number, I don't know, 8 or 9, I guess. This looks like a good ambush point for a pike just off the back there. Just got the bait down there. But yeah, slack water, and then there's fast water out there. Just put this one over the far bank by that tree there. Well, I just dropped it on the crease on the edge of that slack down there. And about 10 minutes later, tip pulled around and got another one in there. It's about 4 pounds. Quickly get him unhooked. Right, next swim. I've given up counting now. Just went for a big walk from where I caught that 4 pounder. Probably about 300 yards downstream, and what I'll do is I'll spend the rest of the day walking back up to where my car is. Found a nice little hole down there where I've put the pike float. And a nice run under the tree there where I've put the cheese baster. Right, another swim. Just got my cheese baster under that tree. Obvious place really. Right, another swim. Certainly covering the ground today. Again, a tree to fish under. And a bit of a slack for the pike float, which is just down there. Into another swim. Getting on for 15 swims now. Got the cheese place just off the back of that tree down there. And a big slack down there is where I've got the pike float. It's pretty decent this one actually. Give it 15 minutes. It's getting on 5 o'clock, so try and move back into one of the swims where I've had some bites, I think, for the evening at least, unless I find a few more bites before then. Beginning to get a few bites down the bend. Oh, just on a pull. Well, concentrated on hitting that bite, and I did. There we go, another chub. About 4 pound as well, I think that one. Really fat. Yeah, maybe 4.5 actually, this one probably. Lovely fish, great condition. Okay, so 3 chubs so far. 2 estimated at 4 and 4.5. 1 weighed at £5.9. Yeah, that getting some tricky bites in this little swim. The last one, what I did was throw in about 5 or 6 like free samples, and that seemed to produce a proper bite, which I was able to hit. Otherwise, I was just getting knocks and tricky. Ooh. Oh, thought he was going to go then. Not hitting anything. Last few bites. That's pulling round.